Hello chat. Metal Gear Solid is a franchise that's well known by now. Everyone and their mother knows what Metal Gear Solid is, and they likely know about Kojima, the wacky wahoo man. He is a strange individual.
They asked to scan my,
With all his faults, he is still a visionary. Or at least so I was told. You see, I only ever really played Metal Gear Solid 3 and 5 way back in the ancient days of 2015-ish. First I played 3, then I played Phantom Pain. Afterwards I played Rising at the start of COVID, so long ago. The thing is, however, I was aware of a lot of the lore due to my best friend. Now, by now I have forgotten a good chunk of stuff, and this marathon's purpose was to catch up on everything. The marathon has been going since June 2025 and has concluded in September 2025. Started with MGS1 emulated and ended with Phantom Pain. I went through Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, 4, Peacewalker, Rising, Ground Zeroes, and Phantom Pain. So now that it has concluded, now that I've finally played from the start of the series, or kind of, I can truly appreciate it more, and I'm here to give a verdict on Kojima. I didn't play the original Metal Gears, but I did look up lore. I'm sorry, but I can't really play all the games unless I grew up with them. So, enough tomfoolery, let's finally start the conclusion of the marathon. Starting with Metal Gear Solid 1.
You're in the wrong basement. I'm gonna see if you bleed green. No.
On the 4th of June, and up until the 7th of June, I played Metal Gear Solid 1, emulated via DuckStation. Now, why was it emulated, you may ask? Because the Master Collection at the time was bugged to me. It didn't recognize the controllers, and it kept wiping my save file after 3 attempts. There's a few issues here. I have recently had to reinstall Steam, which ended up fixing a certain other game, but at the time I ended up giving up on the Master Collection. So I bought them. Tried 1, went to DuckStation, tried 2, had the same issue, went to RPCX2. 3 I didn't attempt, but I assume it would be the same. Was it a bad port? Yes, as it seems like on Reddit. It's a bad port. But it wasn't the only issue. Steam was tweaking, so by now no way for me to know what would have happened. If it would have worked if I reinstalled Steam at the time, that I don't know. I just know that my experience was soured by that. So I had to emulate basically 1 through 4. Small bit of lore aside. Metal Gear Solid 1. Metal Gear Solid 1 to me was a jump scare. A jump scare in quality. Now, I won't lie, that the graphics were nostalgic, even for someone who didn't experience it like that before. But I'm not talking about the graphics, I'm talking about the quality jump scare and the voice acting and general writing. I was stunned to hear such good voice acting in a game that's almost 30 years old. It's actually insane.
Could you be Snake? Are you Solid Snake?
That's what some people call me.
The legendary Solid Snake? You? Sorry about before. I wasn't sure if you were one of the good guys.
But I knew you were.
How?
It's your eyes.
My eyes?
They're not soldiers' eyes.
And they're rookies' eyes, right?
No, they're beautiful, compassionate eyes.
Oh, just what I'd expect from the legendary Solid Snake. You trying to sweep me off my feet?
Don't worry, you'll land back on them once you meet me.
So now, that caught me off guard. The story itself was okay at the start, but got better by the end. Seeing all of the events I heard about before actually happen, the whole Shadow Moses incident, seeing it for myself was so nice. The characters are very iconic. Psycho Mantis, the moment everyone knows, made me smile so much. When he told me to put the controller down, I fucking put it down and it felt so blissful. I don't know, it's hard to explain. It just felt so wholesome. So nice to see what people thought was cool 30 years ago. And, spoiler alert, it's still cool. The characters, like I said, were great. Actually seeing and hearing David Hayter from MGS1 and onwards felt really good. He completely nails Snake's character. Miller and subsequently Liquid's voice acting is phenomenal.
Dear brother.
Then we got Ocelot. Also great. Meryl in this game was insanely neat, especially the codec calls with her. Man, in general, the codec calls were my favorite part of the game. Like, I should really just get to the gameplay, shouldn't I? The gameplay, it's fine. I mean, I understand how the gameplay would blow your mind at the time, but it felt so, you know, it aged. I'm sorry, but it's outdated. It was passable, but without abusing save states, I would have lost my mind for the boss fights, which are not good. I think the bosses are the worst part, along with the gameplay itself, which is fine. The backtracking, especially during Sniper Wolf section, was agonizing, but hey. The game itself was carried by everything but the gameplay. The soundtrack, good lord, the soundtrack. There's so many more good tracks, but everything else in the game that's not the game itself, I absolutely adored. Again, I am flabbergasted at how good the writing and voice acting is, how good the atmosphere is, how good the soundtrack is. It's insane. While I didn't appreciate the bosses, the Raven fight was the closest thing to a decent fight to me, along with Sniper Wolf's second fight. Everything else I didn't vibe with. Now I'll quickly mention something important, save states. Save states are to me just a time save. Had it not have been for save states, both MGS 1 and 2 would have taken at least 1 week to beat. I didn't outright cheese everything with them, and I did try and escape in real time, but certain fights I abused. Save states are just nothing more than time saves in my opinion. If that's something that deeply makes you mad, that's on you. My opinion is that it's a time save, because I still play the game normally. Anyways, save states were only used in 1 and 2 much, so yeah, barely used them, and 4 was a RPCS3 emulated, so I basically wasn't able to. Overall, MGS1 was an incredible experience that I will never play through again until it gets a remake. Metal Gear Solid Alpha or something else. I give it a solid 7 out of 10. Heavily carried by non-gameplay. If you grew up with it, or if you can tolerate basic old controls, I think you would put it higher. As for me, it gets 9 out of 10 if not for the gameplay. But the game requires gameplay, and not a movie. Foreshadowing. So, MGS1 was a good start to the series. 7 out of 10.
I think it's time we look for a new path in life.
A new path?
A new purpose.
Will we find it?
We'll find it.
It's just how the system works. That system, I've been running up against it all day. Well, I'll tell you what, pal. I am not mad at you, okay? I am mad at the system. Okay, but unfortunately, the system isn't here for me to direct my frustrations at yet.
And so we get to Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. Ooh, brother. It started on the 9th of June and concluded on the 15th. And how exactly did it turn out to be? How did this game truly end up being? What sort of impact did it have on me? And what did it make me feel? This game had an insane impact on me. It started off really well, playing as Snake on the ship. Had a great intro and led into a great tutorial level, really. Setting things up for the future, and by future I mean in an hour of playtime later, we are then introduced to Raiden, the actual protagonist. Well, I know who Raiden is. I played Rising. But when I played Rising, I didn't know who Raiden is. So, checkmate, I guess. Anywho, we are introduced to Raiden, the twink spy that infiltrates the Big Show, which is honestly my favorite setting in the series by now. Yes, even better than 3's Wilderness and 1's Shadow Moses. Metal Gear Solid 2's story is extremely good. The voice acting and codec calls are just as good as before, if not better. The themes of the game are so fucking good, especially considering today's AI shenanigans. Snake is still present in this game.
No, that is not Solid Snake.
There's also Solid Snake, which is a pretty good antagonist for the game. Great design, cool fight. Liquid also makes his return later on, but the main thing this game has going, the bosses and small antagonists, are much more refined than in MGS1 for me. I think Dead Cell is cool. Fortune and Vamp especially. Well, then again, I should probably mention the gameplay now, shouldn't I? Well, let me speedrun this real quick. Rose is great in her role. Campbell is great, especially the AI twist. Raiden is, spoiler alert, my favorite Metal Gear protagonist now, but we'll get to that. I don't know, man, I think the cast is really, really good. The bosses are much better than in 1, but now they're all B tiers. They're good enough. It's not until 3 that we get actual great fights. Now, the gameplay. Gameplay is refined to a shine. It feels extremely good. Both playing as Snake for the intro and playing as Raiden. They move much smoother, they look much better, the gameplay is better, the levels are better, the setting of the big shell is better, although visually it needs some extra oomph to stand out. Even if I like the overall function of the big shell and its layouts, I would like if it looked different, a bit different for every section. The enemy AI felt like a huge upgrade. Enemy states were added, or at least it felt like it. You can also hold up guards more reliably, and for them to shake their ass. You could finally aim and shoot in first person, which was very neat to see, so you can aim. You could shoot specific objects, stuff like shooting balls and all that kind of environmental stuff. You had more places to hide, to peek, you can wear uniforms, it was just so much more refined. So, yeah, it's safe to say that I had an absolute blast playing MGS2. Now, while I did utilize save states, as I did in MGS1, it was still greatly enjoyable and I had way less issues with it. My only main issue I had with 2 was just like I said, Big Shell not having many different colors, being, I don't know, and having to backtrack, although it wasn't as bad as 1. So all in all, MGS2 gets a high 8.5 out of 10.
You're being silly.
This game left a huge mark on me right now. Even if I heard about AI Colonel being a twist, I didn't realize just how well it was executed and just how well the story was written. That to me.
It's up to us to teach that to our children.
What kind of things?
About the environment, our ideas, our culture, poetry, compassion, sorrow, joy. We'll tell them everything together.
Is that a proposal?
This is for your ears only.
I need scissors. 61.
That to me, by now, spoiler alert, is the pinnacle of Metal Gear Solid. Having that revelation. That is unmatched. Thank you, Kojima. Now, let's move on to a game everyone praises. The first replay of the series for me. MGS3.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang! Bang! No, I don't see so good, so I missed. Then they ran away. I ran after them.
Okay.
Bang! Try to shoot him in the back. But I don't want so good either.
MGS3. It's time. Oh boy, it's time. So, I'm gonna keep it real. I think the game was great, but certain things during this replay made me think, I prefer 1 and 2. Now, I will straight up say it at the start. While the whole survival mechanic of eating stuff and having different afflictions was cool at the time, during this replay I really didn't like them much. I didn't outright hate that mechanic, but I definitely was indifferent.
I give my life, not for honor, but for you.
I just felt like it was there to be a bit silly, a bit of tomfoolery, a bit of trolling. It could just be me growing up and discovering a preference, but when it comes to MGS3, the game that pioneered a few things, that was not one of the good things it pioneered. What did it pioneer, though? MGS3 was an absolute road paver, that's a word I never use, into shifting MGS1 and 2 corridor stealth into open area thingamajigs. Now, this is something that I'm mixed on a little bit, at least during the swamp sections, where I outright think they detract a bit. Regardless, open areas were fine.
I mean, trees? Everywhere trees? What the hell is this place?
There's also no solid-on radar minimap thing, and its close quarters combat was improved. MGS3's story at the start felt already gripping with the Cold War espionage thing, which hooked me initially, but over time, around the 30% mark, and basically up until the final Logan fight, it kinda lost me a little bit. It lost the momentum.
Oh, nigga! Ah!
But the boss section, whew, cinema. I think that the boss is the best antagonist of the series so far, only rivaled by Armstrong, and that's saying a lot.
I have a dream. What?
The final fight is outstanding. I swear that flower field is iconic. Now, excuse me for going all over the place, but I can't quite write this huge ass script consisting of several games at once. But let's get back to it. So the story was at the start great, then crumbles a bit interest-wise, and then up until the ending section, it's cinema. I think Naked Snake is great, and actually his growth into the big bad big boss is weird. He's not even a villain. I swear we should have gotten another game where he straight up is questionable. But as for other characters, the Cobra unit, they were mostly memorable and had for the first time in the series actually great boss fights. With quality and consistency. The only ones I didn't particularly like were the Fury and the Pain. Everyone else, great. Even the Sorrow. Then there's the codec calls. Great quality. Paramedic was great, Zero was great, Eva is there, and good lord I lost gallons playing this game. Then there's Wogan, which is a pretty good antagonist. Revolver Ocelot is Revolver Ocelot, he's goated. Besides that, everyone is great. I think the main cast is the most consistent here. The bosses were great, the music was... I know this might sound blasphemous, but a downgrade compared to 2. It's still great, but I will say 2 had the best Pepe jams.
But you're so supreme.
The gameplay is refined even more, but I think that goes without saying in a long-going franchise like this. The camo system was introduced and it was cool as all hell. It was unique for the game and it changed the series for a good chunk. So, since that's taken care of, what else do I have to say? MGS3 was played on PCX2, allegedly, and it didn't have many issues. I didn't even use save states much compared to the other 2. I think I only started using them near the end game. Oh wait, I forgot how much I hated that section. The Ava escort mission at the end. That was agonizing. That's where like 80% of my save states went. But yeah, all in all, MGS3 was great. I wouldn't exactly say it left the same impact that MGS2's ending section did, but MGS3 had great characters, mostly great levels, fitting OST, unique mechanics, and a unique vibe. I give it a 8.7 just because the gameplay doesn't matter in the game, and the improvements on 2 are definitely visible and not invisible. That being said, it's time for a hot take. MGS4.
Start putting plans under microscopes and nothing's gonna make sense, alright?
Lots of things make sense. Slashing someone's tires so that they leave makes no sense,
You gonna
Charlie.
put everything I say under a microscope, bud?
Yeah, it's a stupid idea, Charlie.
I'm sorry, you have a better plan?
MGS4 isn't that great.
It's tombstone for you, little homie. We all gonna lay roses on your coffin.
So, it's not that great when it comes to a certain thing. I think for me to truly hammer home what I mean is, have this graph.
Look at this graph!
The average duration of the game is about 18.5 hours. Do you want to know how many hours of that are... how many hours of cutscenes are in that? 9 hours. Now, I'm a Yakuza fan. Yakuza is memed on when it comes to 5 minutes of gameplay and 5 minutes of cutscene. But there's a difference between 5 minutes and 20 minutes. I, even if it might sound controversial, am not here to watch a TV show or a movie. I'm currently finishing JoJo Part 4. I do not have the time to listen to 15 to 20 minutes of exposition every 30 minutes. I just don't wanna. This was the first instance of me outright being bored and sleepy during an MGS game. And mind you, this all lies on one single thing. The cutscene length. And I guess the story, but the story isn't the culprit. I do think the story is the weakest, well, until Phantom Pain, but it's still interesting because of Liquid. because of Old Snake, because of seeing Otacon and Sunny. It's interesting, but it just sucks when I want to play the game, but instead I have to watch, or rather binge watch, a TV show during this time. It's painful because the gameplay is, surprise surprise, even better than 3 somehow. There's no wound system, there's no wilderness BS, there's camo, and not just complex camo systems. Octo camo is the coolest shit in the series so far. I love it so much. It's so cool and it adapts to whatever you're on. The sneaking and stealth is so much better. The gunplay feels so good. The performance surprisingly felt great. I was 100% expecting the game to not even work properly because everyone built it up like, nah, if you get this running, buy a lottery ticket. After going through hell to make Dead Souls run barely, it was a surprise that the game ran somewhat smooth at like bare minimum of 35 FPS, but it didn't crash. Only until the end it started crashing a few times, and I was soft locked during the final boss fight, so I ended up just literally watching the YouTube video. No problems were had there besides. My enjoyment was not impacted as much as I expected. Everything that's not the story or the cutscene ratio felt great. The characters, the gameplay, the shop system, the enemies, the locations. Okay, well that's a lie. I think the locations are not memorable at all, but they're somehow more memorable than 5's. Spoiler, I guess. Anyways, yes. Everything works, but it just pains me. This game had a weaker story, yes, but the emotional impact is there. I really loved Old Snake's entire journey and all of the character arcs that were built up. Naomi, Vamp coming back, Raiden, seeing Ava come back as Mama. My goat Raiden, seeing I Am Lightning was cinema. I love Raiden. MGS4 cemented the fact that I love him even more than Snake, and when I get to Rising soon, it'll be even greater. But all of that stacked up, MGS4, despite the dogshit antagonists and boss fights, all of the beauties, why do they exist? Despite that, despite the 50-50 cutscene and gameplay split, it's still a great game. But it's a great game mired by Kojima trying to make a movie on the PS3. I know this is a matter of preference, I realize that, but MGS4 to me was something that could have been a godsend, but it really felt flat. No matter how refined the gameplay is, it has a bad cutscene ratio. It has bad villains, besides Liquid.
Brother!
It just has hype moments and aura. Oh, and the locations also suffer from the old piss filter. It's a big fat shame, I understand that. It has some fleeting good moments, like revisiting Shadow Moses, but it's just... I don't know. It's a great conclusion. The Liquid fight is insane. A lot of the finale is iconic, but MGS4, to me, gets an extremely generous 8 out of 10, placing it right above MGS1 just due to the gameplay. If MGS1 was remade, it would be a night and day difference. Alright, now I got a few more to go. The next one will be quick, however.
The reason I'm telling you all this is because I'm playing both sides so that I always come out on top.
Peacewalker. Peacewalker is going to be a quick one because, well, I didn't finish it. I played it for about 4 hours, got to the tank boss fight, and after several attempts I dropped it. I got mad. I think the gameplay was good, actually. It felt like a light version of MGS3. The story felt interesting, and a Latin America setting was a nice change of pace, but upon further reading and getting pissed off at the bosses, I discovered that it gets worse as it continues, because it was meant to be a co-op game. I naturally emulated it, or allegedly, so I had to play it solo. If I had a friend to play it with, I thought I would have possibly finished it. And so I decided to drop it after a few hours. Now, is it fair for me to rate the game? Actually, yeah. Listen, Peacewalker was not on my list for this marathon. I was supposed to do 5 Duology next. But an IRL friend told me to do Peacewalker to appreciate the story of 5 a bit more. And even then I said, I'll do it after 5. But then I opted against it. Which, after watching a story recap of Peacewalker, I am glad I did at least watch the recap, because even from the start I was like, wait, Miller was not exclusive to Phantom Pain? All the events that happened with Mother Base happened in Peacewalker? Damn, okay. That's nice to know. Regardless, I will rate the game, I guess. It's a 6 out of 10, easily the weakest, because of the fatal flaw that ruins enjoyment, and I am someone who rates the games on enjoyment and fun. If a game is objectively not that great, but subjectively is a blast, I am ranking that game an 8. You know, case in point, by Yakuza. It's objectively not that great, but I had a lot of fun with it. Peacewalker I will hopefully revisit one day, but what I got from it was a bit of fun gameplay ruined by bad and bloated bosses, saved by a somewhat interesting story and art style. Peacewalker is, I'm really sorry, but it's a 6 out of 10. Anyways, time for the best Metal Gear game.
Got the brakes again? Yep. God damn it, Charlie. Why would you do that? That's just what I do! Wild card, bitches! What? Yeah!
On the 9th of August, after a bit of time passed since Peacewalker, I finally revisited my favorite Metal Gear game. My favorite Platinum Games game. And let me tell you, Metal Gear Rising is still a godsend, like genuinely.
Adios, amigos.
I had a smile on my face the entire time. So the elephant in the room, the skeleton in the closet. It's an action hack and slash. There is barely any stealth, or at least stealth isn't even incentivized. So, Metal Gear Rising. You play as Raiden in the game. That's, if I'm not mistaken, the most up-to-date to all the Metal Gear lore in the chronological order.
I'm in the thick of it, everybody knows.
Seeing Raiden like this after the events of 2, after seeing him in 4, and finally seeing how he feels when you play the series organically. It felt great. This replay of Rising heavily confirmed the fact to me. I much prefer Raiden than Snake. I think Snake is iconic, yes, but this is where subjectivity is implied. Ever since 2, I liked Raiden.
There's a terminal in front of the elevator. A node.
Did you say nerd? Emma, about what you said behind that column there.
Huh? What are you talking about?
Can I just say something?
Sure.
This is my real hair, okay?
I loved Edgelord Raiden in 4.
I am lightning. The rain transformed.
And now I like Weeb Edgelord Raiden in Rising. It's insanely cool.
Damn march! I'm strong! I said my sword was a tool of justice. Not used in anger. Not used for vengeance. But now I'm not so sure. And besides, this isn't my sword.
Seeing him in this setting, going Jack the Ripper mode against Monsoon, fighting Sam, fighting Sarah Armstrong, and the remainder of Desperado. Now, the gameplay. Hack and slash, as expected of Platinum Games. A very fun hack and slash, backed with some new additions. First being Blade Mode. Now, Blade Mode initially in 2020, seeing it was kinda okay. I liked it, but I barely used it that much. Which was the reason why I struggled with certain fights at the time, especially since I also only used keyboard and mouse at the time. But now, Blade Mode is so much fun to use, especially when you know how to use it for weak spots, perfect parries, and just to destroy the environment. There's no blocking in this game, which is wild for a hack and slash, but the parry is implemented in the way of you attacking at the same time as the enemy and just tilt the stick towards them. Which is somewhat cool. I'd say I prefer that to a block button. The mechanic that everyone knows in Metal Gear Rising is the Zandatsu mechanic. Cutting everyone in a certain way and then squishing their mechanical heart like it's a Capri Sun. So yeah, the gameplay is just Platinum Games almost at their best. I still prefer Bayonetta's combat, but goddamn that Rising gets close. Story-wise, Rising is just a fever dream. It's a game known for its bosses and the over-the-top shenanigans. Raiden splitting a jet in two, fighting Sam for ideology, fighting Monsoon and letting Jack the Ripper out, and naturally you got Senator Armstrong, which is easily the best Metal Gear Solid villain.
Try University of Texas. Could have gone pro if I hadn't joined the Navy. I'm not one of those beltway pansies. I could break the president in two with my bare hands. Don't fuck with this, Senator.
Fucking easily, but close to the boss. So yeah, Metal Gear Rising Replay was a godsend. I understood the story more, the cameos and everything else was much better now. Seeing Sunny and not being, who's this, like I was initially, was nice. Nice to see her grow, honestly. The DLCs were fine. Blade Wolf was okay, but it contains Hot Wind is Blowing, so it's goated. And Sam's DLC was a bit better, but still only good. And the DLCs I played for the first time this time. Alright, the music. Yeah, the music, you can watch the ranking video for that. There's a lot of glaze there. But, yeah. Rising is a 9.5 out of 10. It's strange. Objectively, it's probably an 8 at most, but subjectively, this game is an experience most people won't forget. Just the bosses alone. Probably the most memorable bosses of any game ever. It did, in fact, make my Metal Gear rise. So, yeah. Rising was incredible. The best Metal Gear game so far. It's time to conclude this video, eh?
Knock it off. What are you doing?
Is he good?
So, Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain will be merged because Ground Zeroes is literally just one mission. About 40 minutes of story. It's cool, I guess. But seeing the credits roll after 40 minutes made me not even bother trying to do side stuff. I just went straight into Phantom Pain. Like, I heard it was short, but this short? I was expecting like 2 hours. Regardless, thank God I allegedly didn't buy it and allegedly sailed the 7 seas. Ground Zeroes, if I really were to rate it, would be a 7 out of 10 at most. I'm sorry, but for 40 doubloons you get 40 minutes of story. Okay, there's more content, sure, but like, still. I'd rather not pay that much. Despite how good it is and how good it feels, it's okay. But now, time for Phantom Pain. Phantom Pain, the game I adored. The game upon playing in 2015 I was mad at people for disliking. The game that I kept defending since 2015. So, do I keep defending it now, having much more context? Actually, no. I think the game is just so unfortunate. This game has many things going for it. It's innovative in so many things. More than half of those things don't stick the landing, however. The base development is okay, I guess. I'm not here to play a base manager. The enemy adaptation is still here, but honestly feels lesser than 2 and 3. But by far the most fatal flaw, even without the story. Even if the story is okay at most and good at best in certain points. Even if that is a thing, the story being okay I can live with. But the most fatal flaw is just the world. The big, open, empty, visually boring open world containing 3 outposts which barely feel like a fraction of a normal Metal Gear Solid level. Ground Zeroes had Camp Omega, which actually felt like an MGS3 level. So then why didn't they have one in Phantom Pain? And why didn't they develop multiple citadels or something like that to truly utilize the mechanics? They could have had those small camps at checkpoints as well as have actual level design. The closest we got to Camp Omega and MGS3 levels is OKB0, which shows up at the end of Act 1. That's it. Nothing else. Everything else is abysmal dog shit. Okay, that's a bit harsh. Abysmal mid. It's just so repetitive, so visually uninteresting. Afghanistan and Africa, they both to me felt like a big nothing burger. Once you see it for the first time, you've seen everything. I'm sorry, but I just despise the world and level design in this game. It's the epitome of boring. Look into Urban Dictionary and you'll find it there. Which is unfortunate. The gameplay is, surprise surprise, the best in the series. But surprise surprise, the game is bloated beyond belief. 45 hours. Yes, 45 hours. Not even that much compared to a normal medium playthrough. But even with that, I felt so fucking burnt out during the second act. After the 25-hour mark, I've gotten my fill of the goated gameplay and I just wanted to move on. But it kept going and going and going with a cut-apart story and reused missions, which I ended up actually skipping most of them. since I found out they were optional. It's just so fucking aggravating. The formula was there, the gameplay was impeccable. It felt so addicting, so satisfying. Venom Snake is a good protagonist. I don't mind the voice change. I like most of the cast. I've lost gallons to quiet, but even still, it's just... The world is a nothing burger. The level design is there 10% of the time, and the story is okay at most, in a franchise where almost every villain stands out, besides the beauties in 4. MGS5 has Skullface, which is literally just aura farm and hype moments.
You hope hatred might someday replace the pain, but it never goes away.
He was well acted, but the acting being good doesn't save the writing being bad. He barely shows up. He barely does anything. Such a lust for bad writing.
Who is doing this? Such a lust for revenge? Who?
If you thought the beauties in 4 were bad, now you have Skulls to deal with, which had absolutely zero story screen time besides showing up for a boss fight. Overly generic design with one redeeming quality. That cool little intro they do when they find you. I really want to like this game. I really do. I want to love it like I did. It's just stopping me. The mid-story, the unappealing world, no matter how good the gameplay is, no matter how insane the OST is, it's in the Metal Gear series where the characters are the most important. I can barely name the cast members. I think Phantom Pain is fast food, and it pains me. I used to praise this game, so I'm sorry, but I have to give it like a 7.5 at best. No matter the gameplay being the best, it doesn't fix the issues. I'm sorry, but like, gun to my head, I can only name 2 memorable things about Phantom Pain. The Shining Lights mission, which is amazing, and the godly opening. And thus concludes the marathon, on a somewhat bitter note. Kojima is a visionary, yes, but good lord, that man needs someone besides him to tell him what to not do. His music taste slaps, he has dumb comedy most of the time, and he should just make a movie instead of making 4, which so far is definitely the worst, with 30 minutes of cutscenes. Good cutscenes, yes, but 30 minutes of cutscenes nonetheless. I think this marathon opened my eyes for the early days of Kojima. I can understand how people can praise him these days, but creative people need people to control them. The biggest impact this marathon left on me is the ending of 2.
Everyone withdraws into their own small gated community, afraid of a larger forum. They stay inside their little ponds, leaking whatever truth suits them into the growing cesspool of society at large.
The different cardinal truths neither clash nor mesh. No one is invalidated, but nobody is right.
Not even natural selection can take place here. The world is being engulfed in truth.
And this is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, but a whimper.
The experience of OG MGS1, the setting of MGS3, and the final fight. The emotional punch of MGS4, everything concluding. The gameplay of MGS5, and the sheer shenanigans and over-the-top stuff of Rising. Peacewalker was fine for the setting, but everything else truly did feel... Yeah, thus concludes the marathon. After a few months, granted, I took a 2-week break after 3 to not get burnt out, but it is what it is. Thank you for joining me. I'll be playing through Delta by the end of the year when the price drops because I am not paying $80 for a remake. I might try and do a video on Survive to see if it's truly that bad, but that's it for Metal Gear for now. I'm glad I played the games, I really am, but yeah, that's it. See ya and take care.
Bye-bye.